The Bay of Green Bay gives the city its name, part of its identity, and is a great natural resource. But the bay is in a bit of trouble. Thick algal blooms contribute every summer to a dead zone, a portion of the bay depleted of oxygen where marine life struggles to live. Experts from the city, UW Green Bay, UW Milwaukee, and other agencies are tackling this problem. Today on Up Front, we go along on a water monitoring mission to see what's being done to save the bay.
Patrick, you can close it. You can throw the front lines.
Once a week, Sarah Bartlett fires up the boat. The Bay Guardian, a watchdog for the water of Green Bay.
Watch our back end.
Sarah is a water resource specialist for New Water, the Green Bay Municipal Sewerage District.
All right, nice job. I'm in forward.
She's also the captain of the boat.
I'm just going to go around it.
This day, Sarah and her colleagues will visit 3 of the 20 monitoring sites New Water has in the bay.
We're looking at water temperature, dissolved oxygen, and then we also, once we're back in the lab, we'll look at the nutrients of the water.
2 miles out from shore on a bright 77-degree morning, the water shimmers. Seabirds take flight, and fishermen cast for their daily catch. But all is not well under the surface.
So we get a lot of runoff from urban and rural, but then we also get some loading from the Lake Winnebago and Fox River system, and that brings a lot of suspended solids and a lot of phosphorus.
Increased phosphorus leads to more cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae.
It loves this warm water, and it loves when you get an influx of nutrients. It just outcompetes all the good green algae.
You can see the blue-green algae along the shore. This time of year is ripe for this type of bloom.
They are gung-ho, they are ready to proliferate, and they are concerning because not only do they look aesthetically disgusting, it's almost like a pea soup on the surface of the water and it's lime green, but it's concerning because they can produce toxins, and there's just this public health concern if you come into contact or ingest the water.
The bad algae eventually die and sink to the lake's floor. Microbes eat the decomposing algae but use up a lot of the water's oxygen in the process. That makes it harder for other marine life, which depend on dissolved oxygen to survive.
The whole food web is important, so you really care about not just your big fish community, which is very visible, but there's a lot of little guys at the bottom of the water that they don't get as much attention, but they really suffer the most.
The bottom of the bay becomes a dead zone. It can fluctuate from day to day, week to week, year to year.
ODO is 126.2%.
The New Water crew is keeping tabs on what's happening in the bay.
We sucked in some pretty dirty water from here.
That we did.
But they're also directing their efforts to better controlling what's coming downstream with a pilot project in nearby Silver Creek.
We're working with the agricultural producers in that area to make improvements to their land and their practices to reduce runoff and reduce nutrient loading to the river and to the Bay of Green Bay.
Jeff Smutty is Watershed Programs Manager for New Water. He and his partner agencies want to prove that smarter practices upstream will help farmers and save the bay. But it all needs to be done on a larger scale to really make a difference.
I'm very confident that we're making improvements and we will see improved water quality in the near future.
It's a battle being fought one sample, one farm, one day at a time for the crew of the Bay Guardian. Later this week, the New Water scientists will pull their monitors out of Green Bay, devices they've had in the water since late spring. They'll spend weeks analyzing the data, and we'll have a better idea of the extent of this year's dead zone event sometime in the fall. If you'd like to know more about the dead zone and the efforts to save the bay, we've made part of our interviews with the staff of Green Bay's New Water available as a web extra on the Upfront section of WISN.com. Coming up next on Upfront, a look back at a time when the Packers' future seemed less than certain.